this is Bob. And Bob was my firstborn. He had just bought his home that he lived in for 29 years before he was killed there. This guy was looking for a place to stay. Bob said, I think the Lord wants me to help you. Bob says, I'm so blessed and I want to help others. And he took him in. I'm sure Bob didn't know that there was a drug dealer living in his house. He never thought anything bad about people. That was his downfall. I knew what was going on, and so I tried to warn him. I said, you know your life's in danger. I am just sorry that Bob didn't listen. He'd be with us today.
County 911. My neighbor, he was shot. What happened? I heard multiple shots, like a lot of shots right now.
The caller says his neighbor just collapsed on his doorstep.
Does he still appear to be breathing? Yes, I think he's still alive. Do you know if anybody else is your neighbor? Yes, my neighbor Bob. We've got paramedics on the way. We'll do.
As police and EMS respond,
County 911.
I'm a Lyft driver. I was dropping a young man off at his house, and I heard gunshots as I was approaching. And then I saw a guy stumbling across the cul-de-sac. It looks like he's been shot. I don't want to tell this young man off until everything. I heard your Lyft driver, bro.
We did have somebody call it in.
Your officers just arrived on scene.
A black male, obvious gunshot wound, not alert, barely breathing.
As paramedics rush the victim to the ER,
We need to clear this house. Not ready, victim.
officers find a second man shot dead in the garage,
We need to find somebody.
and a third man shot dead in the living room.
Preparing for 2 more bodies? Here, bro.
I'd always been interested in policing ever since I was a young kid. Always stared at police officers, seeing what they were doing. As soon as I started it, I just fell in love with it. Couldn't imagine going back to the civilian world.
A 10-year veteran of Gwinnett PD, Corporal Doug Loomis worked robbery and SVU before joining homicide last year.
It's my first triple. We know that 2 of them are still at the house, and the third one ended up not making it on the way to the hospital.
The victim at the hospital is a 45-year-old black male. He was shot 3 times in the chest, once in the back, and once in the leg.
There's a greater urgency when someone who's just killed 3 people. You don't know how desperate they are. They might just kill some more people. What do we have?
Outside the home of the neighbor who called 911,
Victim was sitting, kind of propped, leaning against the door.
Did he say anything to you?
Within 30 seconds of our arrival, he pretty much
officers were unable to get a statement from the victim who died at the hospital.
There's 2 dead bodies in the house.
The homeowner?
He was inside the house.
Robert Caverly.
64-year-old Robert Caverly grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. He moved to Georgia in his 30s and worked as a maintenance engineer. Robert is survived by his mother and 3 brothers.
The other decedent is who?
So the guy in the garage, we have no clue who he is.
The unidentified victim in the garage is a white male.
Somebody told me they saw somebody run around the back.
I heard the Lyft driver, bro.
The Lyft driver who called 911 said a man fled into the woods carrying a blue blanket.
could be the shooter.
Yeah.
The canine unit tries to pick up the man's trail.
We've got some pretty fresh footprints. In fact, there's areas of giant swamp. I'm not going to be able to really check very well. So, it might not be a bad idea to start Air 1. Working on.
Air units join the search, using thermal imaging cameras that can track body heat.
Air 1,
We'll go in here and figure out what's going on.
Sounds good.
The car sitting in the door. So they cleared the car.
Oh, there's a handgun laying in the grass.
Near the car is a 9mm gun.
Over the line.
Yes, it is.
The unidentified white male in the garage was shot 4 times. Once in his head, shoulder, back, and leg. Littered around the garage are 13 .40 caliber casings.
I don't know.
In the living room,
He was like that with the pooling of blood.
the homeowner, Bob, has a gunshot wound to his chest and one to his arm.
There's a shower casing.
One shot on the staircase.
Both casings are 9mm.
It looks like the homeowner is coming down the stairs, and that's when he gets it.
Think he tried to run through the door?
Yeah, it's probably.
I mean, it's pretty sad.
Upstairs,
In here, I assume that's Junior's room.
the team discovers a child's bedroom,
We searched the house of this kid.
I did it myself.
Okay.
but the child is nowhere to be found.
That's bad.
Is our dead guy at the hospital the guy that shot these two and they shot him?
I don't know. Right now, it's a crazy scene. I don't exactly know how everything is connected, but it's a big cluster right now.
Homeowner here, directly to the left. He said the Bob guy had just gotten remade. Maybe a few months ago or earlier this year. There was a kid, a black male, yeah, and then a female.
So that wasn't Bob's kid.
No.
I think it's the new guy's kid.
Detectives believe the child belongs to the victim who died at the hospital.
Okay. Maybe get with the SROs, and they'll say, hey, these are who's associated with that address.
The team will reach out to the school resource officer to try to get the name of the missing child and his mother.
We really need to find out where this kid is.
Yeah. It's very worrisome.
While some of the team works on finding the child,
We've located the fully blanket.
the canine unit tracks the suspect's scent to a discarded blanket 40 yards into the swamp.
We're going to try and cast around this area. Let's see if we can find anything.
And then to a house just 1 block from the crime scene.
We've located a house with a crawl space that was open. Inside, we've located a bunch of muddy clothes, a couple bags, and an AK pistol.
They believe the suspect stashed a pair of jeans, a backpack, a bag full of drugs, and an AK-47.
So he's running with an AK, dope, blanket, and he's half naked.
Air 1 checked the swamp. They've got no heat, so I have nowhere to redeploy to try anything.
Air units were unable to locate the suspect.
Has anybody tried to knock on the door at that other house?
No.
How do we know that dude's not in there holding the family?
We don't.
search warrant signed.
I don't know if the suspect is in that house. We don't know if there's a family in that house. We don't know if he snuck in, might be holding him hostage.
The team makes entry.
So right now we're thinking, hopefully he's in the house.
But the suspect is not inside.
I appreciate it.
3.5 hours in,
We canvassed up and down the street. That house is a Ring camera. She wasn't able to get any of the video. She's at work at that reception.
a neighbor has agreed to hand over surveillance video when she gets off of work.
Hey, Lieutenant Bozeman's got the number for the 5-year-old's mom.
Using the crime scene address, a school resource officer found the name of a guardian for the child who had been living at the house.
Jennifer Kelly. She's at a hotel in Norcross.
Jennifer is the fiancée of the victim who died at the hospital.
Once we dispel the kids accounted for, then we can shift gears. Thank you.
I'm calling her.
Hello?
Hey, Jennifer.
Yes, who is this?
Hey, this is Corporal Loomis with Gwinnett Police. How are you?
Yes, sir. I was trying to see if anything happened at my house today because somebody called me and said the house had got shut up.
We were trying to get in touch with you just to make sure you're okay. And were you here earlier today at all?
No, sir, I haven't been there. I left Thursday night and got in an argument.
She says she left the house 2 days ago after a fight with her fiancé.
Oh, okay.
Loomis asks her about the missing child.
We were just curious. Is he with you?
He's with my sister-in-law.
The child is staying with her fiancé's sister.
Who else was here at the house who wore glasses?
Stephen Finch. He was over there early.
She says she spoke to her fiancé on the phone a few hours ago, and he was hanging out with Bob's former roommate, Stephen.
They were just hanging out throwing darts in the garage.
Okay. Did they say what they were going to do today?
No, he didn't because we had plans. I got a hotel room. We're just trying to have him a long time and see if we can work things out.
She says her fiancé was supposed to stop by her hotel room.
Can you just tell me if he's alive?
It was bad. Okay. I'm sorry. He passed away.
No! Oh my God!
I'll be there soon, okay? She hung up. It was tough. Hey, Smith. That guy in the garage is Stephen Finch.
33-year-old Stephen Andrew Finch was born and raised in Cordele, Georgia. He worked as a filleter for a local seafood company in order to support his 3-year-old son. Stephen leaves behind his parents, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers.
His father called him, and he's like, tell me, is it him? And I'm like, well, I don't know for sure.
Stephen's father called from Cordele, 50 miles south of Gwinnett County, when a family acquaintance notified him that his son may have been killed.
Can you call that number and tell the father?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, this is Corporal Loomis with Gwinnett Police.
My name is Jessica, and Stephen Finch is my brother.
Okay. I believe my sergeant has spoken with your father as well earlier.
Yes.
We did just confirm that Stephen Finch is one of the deceased bodies up here in Gwinnett County.
Okay.
Sorry you had to find out this way, and I'm so sorry this happened. We were going to try and have a law enforcement officer down there make contact, but you guys found us first.
Okay.
We're still trying to piece all this together.
He just went up there to visit his girlfriend. And she's pregnant with my brother's child.
I'm so sorry you guys lost.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Loomis and Corporal Chris Smith meet with the fiancé of the victim who died at the hospital.
When was the last time you were at the house?
Yesterday when I got off, I got some clothes. Will you tell me Bob killed too?
Yeah.
Was. We were going to get married. So on Thursday, we got in a big fight. But he kept telling me to come home and everything.
What happened on Thursday?
Maybe sent some money to some people in Mexico. And it was drug related.
She says her fiancé was bringing meth across the border from Mexico.
And I told him I didn't want to live that way. And I was like, the baby's here, and, you know, you putting our lives in jeopardy, you know? I could tell him that. He was drinking, and he hit me in my eye.
She says she left because he gave her a black eye.
He was going to go to anger management, and he told me to get this hotel room. If he said I might as well tell the truth. I have no clue who did it.
What's his name?
The boy named Justin. They were selling drugs, and Justin was like the guy that used to go rob everybody and beat them and stuff like that.
So Justin, is he a black male?
Yes. And I don't know Justin's last name, but you can find out because Justin's brother got killed at his hotel not too long ago, running from the police. He shot the police dog.
She said Justin's brother was driving a stolen vehicle when he led police on a car chase that ended in a hotel parking lot.
I guess they were supposed to be robbing somebody or something. Then they thought.
She says Justin thought Jennifer's fiancé had set his brother up.
I know Justin was threatening him and telling him he was going to get back.
So, Justin, his brother, is the one that shot the police dog?
Yes, and died.
Corporal Chris Smith looks up the incident with Justin's brother.
Is this Justin?
That's him.
Okay.
She identifies 21-year-old Justice Lusk as the man she knows as Justin.
There's a lot of guns. I'm willing to tell the truth because I want whoever did this, I want him to the jail right now. Y'all still need me?
Nah, we're good for now.
If you need anything, I promise I'm right here.
Yeah, that works. Thank you.
So, Mello on scene says they were able to access the ring camera across the street.
The team finally got surveillance video from one of the neighbors.
Let's go. Jennifer gave me a name, Justice, and she believes that they had gotten threats from him. So, I mean, we still got to link this Justice guy to the location. It just makes it a little more complex.
You want to come watch this video? I got to pull up. There's the suspect. Camera drops him off. He's wearing sweatpants and like a bluish or grayish hoodie.
The suspect gets into an argument with the victim, who died at the hospital.
So he obviously knew who the shooter was.
Car leaves.
Most likely an Uber.
He gets shot.
The victim who died at the hospital was shot first.
You can see him run out. The other car comes back. More gunfire. And he takes off.
As soon as the suspect called for a ride, his driver freaked out and took off.
The suspect goes into the Infinity. The suspect tries to get into this car.
I need your room, driver.
And he takes off in between these two houses.
The camera was too far away for detectives to get a look at the suspect's face.
Find out what Uber that was.
Corporal James Mello will contact Uber to try and track down the driver who brought the suspect to the scene.
I think we're really close, man. Yeah. All right, I'm going to headquarters.
Six hours in.
Hello?
Uber came back, that Justice guy.
Uber reported that Justice Lusk was the passenger.
I just sent you the driver's name and telephone number.
All right.
He got dropped off in an Uber, he got picked up in an Uber, and he got dropped off in an Uber.
According to Uber, Lusk requested another ride from nearby that he used to flee the area.
And he's got the address.
Uber gave detectives the address where he was dropped off.
And he just sent you the ID of the shop blue, and it's got the same address.
The address checks back to Justice's father.
We're going to drive over to this address and see what we can see.
I love it. Teamwork.
While detectives head out to begin surveillance on Lusk's house.
The plan is to put a lineup together and get the Uber driver back. Hello? Hey, Corporal Loomis with the Gwinnett Police.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Loomis calls the driver who drove Lusk to the crime scene.
I know it's late, but I was wondering if you'd be able to meet me at my headquarters to show you a photographic lineup.
Oh, yeah, I can go right now.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
A half hour later.
Okay, bud, how you doing? Okay, so we're investigating a homicide that occurred early this afternoon. This is the area that it happens, Creekwater.
Richter shows the driver a map of the cul-de-sac where the murders happened.
Do you remember this particular customer?
Yeah, I know this guy. This guy was in the backside, was doing something like on my seat. I don't know, argue with people, they know. Who knows what they're gonna do. So I dropped him off, and I was just turning around, and suddenly there were gunshots. After just like 3-4 minutes, I got another call from the same guy. I said, I just picked this guy, it's the same.
The Uber driver says he returned to the cul-de-sac to pick up the man he just dropped off.
I saw there's one other Uber guy. He has a BMW and he's dropping off a kid, like a minor kid. And he was telling me, did you hear the gunshot? They shot the guy on the corner. And that super guy was calling the dead guy, hey, you okay? You okay? So I just literally ran away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a group of 6 photographs, okay? Basically, look at the pictures. If you recognize somebody, tell me which one and why.
He identifies Justice Lusk as the man he dropped off just before the shooting.
Hey, Victor.
Okay, do you want to just circle the number and then initial it?
Yeah. When he got out of my car, he just put his mask. And because he's doing weird behavior, so I look at him like trying to find out who's there. His name was showing Justice.
Go in there. Hey, boy.
You said when you talked to him on the phone.
So when you dropped him off, did he ask you to wait?
No, he didn't ask me to wait.
Did you guys have any conversation in the car?
He was smoking, and I said, man, I'm asthmatic and I can't handle it. So he said, okay, let me finish outside. That's the only conversation.
Was this guy carrying anything?
Yeah, he had the backpack. Does the backpack look like that one?
Loomis shows him a photo of the backpack that was found in the crawl space.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a victim? Oh, he's a criminal.
He's just someone we're trying to find.
You guys can't catch him?
We're gonna catch him.
No, you have. Yeah.
Thanks for all your help, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
We're gonna have to do a search warrant at that house.
Yeah.
Loomis now has enough to secure a search warrant for Lusk's address.
I mean, it would be nice to get him off the streets tonight. We've come a long way in 8 hours or whatever it's been.
Yeah. We had Major Restrepo and Corporal Mello getting ready to spin up their SWAT team and do a search warrant on Lusk's address.
As SWAT prepares to hit Lusk's house,
Man, 911.
Someone just came to wreck my house.
a report comes in about a suspicious person in the neighborhood where the murders took place.
He stopped the car and it was kind of strange. He ran to like a house, like hiding, kind of hiding things.
How long did he stay behind there, you know?
Like probably a good 4 minutes. He drives off right now.
What kind of vehicle is he in?
He's in a black Camry. He's wearing like a hoodie. Army camouflage, green, brown, and black.
Did you tell if he's a white male, black male?
Black male. He's coming back again. I see him right now.
The caller says the vehicle is circling the neighborhood.
The officers, they're on their way. Just stay in line with me.
He said there was a black Camry and those persons walking around behind something that's broken up.
Okay, the police is right behind us.
2147 on the black Toyota.
The officer spots the Camry driving slowly through the neighborhood and pulls it over.
21 early. I'll be transferring one now to 35.
Yes, sir.
Your suspect's 1095. They just stopped him. I said, who's in the car? He says, Justice. So I said, put him in handcuffs. I think we pause on the search warrant, you think?
Yeah.
So we got him. Let's pause on that. Let's get him in pocket. So we're going to head over that way.
Yeah, it works. Thank you, guys.
All right, bro. Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's a lucky break. Who would have thought when we arrived that you'd be here right now?
Cheers.
Cheers. Good work.
11 hours into the investigation.
Justice, how you doing?
Justice Lusk is brought into homicide.
My name is Detective Loomis. This is Detective Mello. How you doing tonight?
Good.
So you're in police custody. You ever been up here before?
No.
No? Never been arrested for anything?
No.
So the reason why they're selling your car and came about is some people saw you walking behind their house. What were we looking for back there?
No, I got a friend who stayed over there. I was trying to see how far we was away from the house.
Where's your friend live?
Next street over.
Can you describe the house to me? Like, is it on a main road? Is it in a cul-de-sac?
It's in a cul-de-sac.
So it's in a cul-de-sac. If you're driving into the cul-de-sac, which way are you gonna go?
To the left.
Okay. I think I might know which house you're talking about.
Do you scare some people walking behind their houses? Why wouldn't you just drive the car around?
Because they said they had it blocked off. And then I heard the news. I had a homicide somewhere over there in the area. And I knew to go get my stuff. I left with my gun.
He claims he was trying to get to the victim's house, where he had left a gun several days ago.
What kind of gun is it?
It's PK.
You like to shoot guns a lot?
I don't be shooting guns.
You know? When was the last time you shot a gun?
Some nights.
Why were you going this late to get that stuff?
I wanted to hurry up and get it, and that's mine, it's in my name, you know what I'm saying?
What about this afternoon? Were you there this afternoon?
Yeah, I came.
How did you get there today? Uber? What happened when you got there?
I wasn't dead.
He claims his friend wasn't home.
That's all I love.
Okay. But you walk into the garage?
No.
Yeah, you do.
You know what's amazing about that cul-de-sac, Justice?
What?
All the video cameras.
You get out of the white Toyota Camry Uber and you walk into the garage. And who do you talk to in the garage?
I was talking to
He admits he spoke with his friend, the victim, who died at the hospital.
What were y'all arguing about?
They was like trying to keep my guns.
I can see how that would be upsetting. We're just trying to figure out why you left your guns over there initially.
I needed some money.
So he loaned you money for your guns? Were you going to pay him back?
Yeah, I had the money. He just didn't want to give it to me.
Alright, well, you said you saw the news, so something happened when you were there. I kind of know what happened, but you were there.
He was arguing with me about me trying to pick my guns up. I got the gun.
He claims his friend was carrying a 9mm.
Okay, and did you shoot him because he had a gun, or?
Yeah, that's how. When I came in the garage, he was clutching at me. He got his hand ready on the gun, so I felt threatened.
Is that the black and silver one from the front yard?
There's a handgun laying in the grass.
I grabbed that too.
You may have dropped it by accident. How many times did you shoot the second guy that was in the garage?
I think so.
2 times.
Which one did you use to shoot them? So 40 caliber?
Mm-hmm.
So you go in the house?
No, I'm going upstairs.
Okay, is that when Bob, the old white dude, is coming down the steps?
Yeah, he was like, what's going on?
How many times did you shoot him?
2.
Bob's like, okay. Why'd you shoot Bob?
Because now I was trying to get my guns back.
Is that when you went upstairs to try to find your guns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I had a Glock 22 with a micro kit and a Draco, a William Draco.
And then what did you put those in?
In the book bag.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then you took that stuff and you went through the woods and you put the stuff in the crawl space, right? So those are the jeans you had on?
Mm-hmm. Was that meth that was with the in the crawl space?
I don't know. I just grabbed the bag.
And then, is that one of the AKs?
That's my Draco.
The guns you used to shoot everybody are in this backpack?
Yeah, that's the Glock 22.
Right. Did you think it was going to be like that when you got there? You did. So you went there with full intention of getting your guns and killing everybody?
No, I just wanted to get my stuff and be done with it.
You regret what you did?
I just wanted to get my stuff and leave and never come over there again.
Well, got a confession. And I mean, I was just going super slow, just leading up to it, and shot him. He's like, yeah. I'm like,
he knew we knew, and it was killing him.
Mr. Luss said the Glock 22 was inside of the backpack. They didn't go through it, so we're just going to make sure that Glock 22 is in the backpack, like he said, because that's the one he said he shot everybody with.
There it is.
On scene, we recovered a 9mm handgun in the front yard, which was used to shoot Robert Caverly. So 2 guns were used during this homicide. The 9mm that we recovered in the yard probably is the gun that the victim had on him at the time. I believe that situation evolved so quickly that his .40 caliber handgun may have run out of ammunition, and I think he may have not fully remembered using that 9mm handgun.
Just 12 hours into the investigation, Corporal Loomis closes his case.
When I interviewed Jennifer, she had mentioned that her fiance was involved with drug cartels, but there was no connection from drug cartels directly to the homicide. My best estimate on what happened, Justice needed money, so he lent his guns to the first victim that got shot. Justice was on a mission to get his guns back, and then as soon as Justice walks in the garage, the victim was yelling, "Don't come in here starting that." He knew why Justice was there. Somehow that altercation turned into shooting. And he's the one who ultimately passes away at the hospital. Justice has no direct connection to Robert, or Stephen. I think they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately, Robert had let Jennifer stay there, and then she brought her fiance to stay. And the fiance brought all this trouble to the house, which ended up, with this triple homicide. I'm sorry that 3 people had to lose their lives today, because that's a tragedy for all the families involved.
Stephen was my younger brother. Every moment of our life growing up was spent together.
7 months after his murder, Stephen's sister Jessica is still learning to cope with the loss.
I have my good days and my bad days when it comes to dealing with it. We are headed to Miss Brown's house to meet her for the very first time today.
Sharing their grief, Jessica and Bob's mother, Mary, have become friends.
Miss Mary and I talk once every couple weeks or so. I feel like it's kind of helped a little bit.
Come in. Yes, ma'am. Jessica, let me give you a hug. We have something that binds us together now.
Yes, ma'am. They were special people.
Yes.
We learned after Stephen passed, there was a guy at his funeral, and he said that my brother had found him sleeping up under a bridge, and it was cold, and Stephen said, come on, you're going to go home with me tonight. And Stephen gave him a place to stay for the night. So they were a lot alike. I just can't even begin to put into words how much life has changed.
It changes you forever.
I think they would be happy that we met today.
Oh, yes, I think so too.
The human heart, in its profound capacity for love, hope, and vulnerability, often grapples with the immense weight of memory when a life is suddenly and brutally extinguished. Those who remain are left to navigate a turbulent ocean of grief, regret, and unanswered questions. For some, the journey involves a painstaking and deeply personal excavation of the past, forced to confront moments that shatter the illusion of a life once lived with purpose and promise. You want my kind? I'm all right. I love you. These words, steeped in a raw, unvarnished honesty, encapsulate the very essence of human resilience in the face of unimaginable sorrow. They speak of a connection so profound that even in its fracturing, love persists. A guiding star in the darkest night, there is a sense of an internal struggle, a profound battle waged against a relentless tide of sorrow, as the speaker admits. I've been pushing this stuff back for so long that it's just so hard. The act of remembrance, typically a comfort, becomes a harrowing ordeal, forcing a reevaluation of dreams, a reliving of nightmares. The difficulty is not merely emotional. It is cognitive, a mental and spiritual burden. You know what I mean? Answering these questions. It's been really, really difficult. The questions from strangers, however well-intentioned, pierce the carefully constructed walls of self-preservation, demanding a return to the very moment that tore their world asunder, and then a profound statement, an acknowledgement of the irreplaceable void left behind. It was my anchor. This single phrase beautifully illustrates the victim's role, not merely as a loved one, but as a stabilizing force, a cornerstone of existence. The world, without him, now drifts aimlessly untethered. Amidst the swirling vortex of pain, a precious memory, a moment of unadulterated joy, surfaces with bittersweet clarity. I remember when she was born. He took a picture of his hand on my chest, and I was holding her, and he said, God gave me my life back. This image, tender and sacred, paints a vivid portrait of a man transformed by fatherhood, a profound testament to the redemptive power of new life. In that tiny bundle, he found not just love, but a second chance, a resurgence of purpose, a spiritual rebirth. It was a moment of profound gratitude, a feeling of divine intervention in the landscape of his own struggles. The depth of this sentiment underscores the immense potential that lay within him. The burgeoning father, the man striving for a better existence. The subsequent utterance, however, introduces a jarring dissonance, a complex intertwining of emotions common to those left in the wake of violent, preventable loss. I just miss him. I miss him and I'm mad at him. To miss is to ache for an absence, to yearn for a presence that will never return. To be mad, however, speaks to a different layer of grief. Anger at the circumstances, anger at choices made, anger at the injustice, perhaps even anger at the deceased for actions that, however unintentionally, led to his ultimate fate. It is a testament to the raw, unfiltered truth of human emotion, where love and frustration can coexist, intricately woven into fabric of bereavement. The lingering thought, infused with an almost primal frustration, encapsulates the speed and finality of tragedy. It all happened so fast. It pissed me the hell off because I wanted him to come home so bad. The suddenness of it all, the brutal disruption of routine, the unfulfilled yearning for his return, is a tormenting loop in the grieving mind. The narrative shifts abruptly, plunging us into the chaos of the immediate aftermath, the frantic, desperate moments on a cold night as a life ebbed away. Where is he shot at? Right here. This is likely the voice of a first responder, an officer or paramedic on the scene, grappling with the desperate urgency of a situation. Their words are clipped, direct, focused entirely on the grim task at hand. He's got one of the chests and eggs in the back. The raw, unadorned description of the wounds, while graphic, underscores the stark reality of the violence inflicted. And then the urgent, pleading words of encouragement, born of a deep-seated human impulse to preserve life. Stay with U.S. buddy. Come on now. You're not going to go nowhere. It's a desperate mantra against the inevitable, a valiant but ultimately futile stand against the cruel tide of mortality. In the harrowing world of homicide investigation, time is not merely a dimension. It is a relentless adversary. Every ticking second that passes in the immediate aftermath of a violent death incrementally diminishes the probability of justice. For homicide detectives, their chance of solving the murder is cut in half if they don't get a reason to within the first 40.5 hours. This statistic, often cited among seasoned investigators, speaks to the critical golden hour, or in this context, the pivotal first 48 hours, when initial clues are most abundant, witnesses' memories are freshest, and perpetrators are most likely to make mistakes. The pressure on these dedicated men and women is immense, a silent clock ticking away, urging them onward, knowing that every delayed lead, every uninterviewed witness, every missed piece of evidence potentially translates to a colder trail and a greater chance for a killer to escape accountability. It is against this backdrop of urgency and profound human tragedy that Detective Jason White, a seasoned veteran of the Tulsa Homicide Unit, steps into the unfolding drama. I'm heading to an area in the northwest part of the city in Osage County. The geographical demarcation is precise, painting a picture of a jurisdiction spanning beyond city limits, often involving interagency cooperation. The scene awaiting him is one of immediate horror. The victim apparently was shot out in the driveway and managed to make inside of the house, but has unfortunately died of his injuries. This concise summary of events highlights a desperate struggle for survival, a courageous, perhaps final, sprint for perceived safety of home. The victim, clinging to life, fought his way inside, only for death to ultimately claim him within those very walls. A tragic testament to the futility of his last, valiant efforts. The devastating reality of the victim's wounds reinforces the brutality of the attack. The victim suffered gunshot wounds to the chest, arm, and leg, and doctors were unable to save him. Multiple entry points, affecting vital areas, indicate a ruthless, determined assailant and underscore the immediate severity that overwhelmed medical interventions. Detective White's internal reflection on his career grounds a narrative in realism, offering a glimpse into the grim nature of his daily work. I've been in the unit for around 10.5 years, and it's my 80th case. It's a lot of murders. 10.5 years equates to more than a decade of staring into the abyss of human cruelty, of witnessing families torn apart, of confronting the raw, unvarnished consequences of violence. 80 cases is not merely a number. It represents 80 individual lives extinguished, 80 investigations meticulously pursued, 80 families forever scarred. It is, as he simply states, a lot of murders, a stark reminder of the relentless churn of violent crime that plagues communities, and the heavy burden borne by those tasked with bringing perpetrators to justice. Despite the volume, each case retains its individuality, its unique constellation of victims, perpetrators, and circumstances, never truly blending into an undifferentiated mass. The victim at the center of this latest tragedy is immediately identified, grounding the story in a specific individual whose life has been so senselessly cut short. The victim, his name is Kim Hayes. 26-year-old Kim Hayes emerges from the anonymity of a victim label to become a distinct entity. His background immediately draws empathy and highlights the devastating impact of his death. 26-year-old Kim Hayes was born and raised in Tulsa in a close-knit family. This suggests roots, community, and strong familial bonds, emphasizing the personal cost of his murder. His professional life paints a picture of responsibility and integration into society. He worked for an industrial manufacturer, and perhaps most poignantly, a recent milestone in his personal life underscores a profound tragedy, and just celebrated his daughter's first birthday. This joyous event, a symbol of hope, new beginnings, and the promise of a future, stands in stark, heartbreaking contrast to his sudden, violent end. Kim was not merely a statistic. He was a young father, a son, an employee, a man with burgeoning dreams and connections. At the crime scene, the meticulous work of the forensic team commences, a silent but relentless quest for the smallest details that will speak volumes. We got the search waiver signed by the mom. This is her mom's house. Mom and girlfriend right here. All right. The process of securing a search waiver, a vital legal step, involves obtaining consent from a property owner. The fact that the crime occurred at his mother's house adds another layer of familial intrusion and trauma. The environment, a residential neighborhood, is now a carefully partitioned canvas for forensic examination. We got road trails everywhere. This terse but vivid description conjures images of chaotic movement, a struggle perhaps, leaving a literal trail of vital clues for investigators to follow. The detective quickly ascertains the location of the victim's final moments within the home. Where's he found? He found him in the house. This confirms a desperate attempt to escape inside. The initial discovery of a firearm on the scene immediately raises critical questions and directs initial speculation. There's a gun in the garage. Blood all over that gun. The gun is a .380. The presence of a firearm, a .380 caliber, coated in blood, is a significant piece of physical evidence. Its location in the garage suggests it may have been either the murder weapon, dropped in the ensuing chaos, or perhaps a weapon belonging to the victim. The immediate query, so do we think that's victims? Maybe, encapsulates the detective's rapid but cautious assessment of the initial findings, refusing to jump to conclusions until further analysis. The thorough search of the crime scene extends beyond the immediate vicinity of the body, encompassing a wider area that speaks to the dynamism of the event. The team finds 5 key scenes scattered across the driveway, cases under and into the street. This scattered distribution of evidence, 5 key scenes, strongly suggests a violent altercation that was not confined to a single spot. A struggle, a chase, or an attempted escape could account for this widespread dispersion of forensic materials. All of our cartridge cases at .380. The consistency in the caliber of the spent casings, all .380, further solidifies the likely involvement of the handgun found in the garage, linking the physical evidence to the weapon used in the attack. In an increasingly digital world, a victim's cell phone often holds a key to the final moments of their life. Did he have a phone? The phone's out there, and I drive away. The phone, located outside in the driveway, suggests it was dropped during the initial struggle, or perhaps even deliberately used or accessed by the perpetrators. Its existence immediately piques investigative interest. I got a password for the victim's phone. It's Slime. It's an interesting password. I thought so. Myself. The discovery of the password is a critical win for digital forensics, unlocking a treasure trove of potential communications. The password itself, Slime, while seemingly innocuous, carries connotations that prompt a detective's mental note, an interesting detail that might hint at affiliations, an aspect of Kim's life he was perhaps trying to leave behind, or even a simple personal code. But another piece of evidence, seemingly dropped by accident, provides an even more direct and immediate lead to a potential suspect. You got a pill bottle. The name on this pill bottle is Charles Boaz, and it's hydrocodone, an opioid, pain medication. Hydrocodone is commonly sold on the streets. This discovery is an undeniable breakthrough. A prescription pill bottle bearing the name Charles Boaz and containing hydrocodone, an opioid highly sought after and trafficked on the street, creates an immediate and undeniable link. This isn't just a random item. It points directly to an individual and suggests the highly probable motive of a drug deal gone tragically wrong. Hydrocodone street value and illicit trade are well known to law enforcement, immediately shifting the investigation toward the dangerous world of narcotics. The physical evidence from the pill bottle immediately resonates with anecdotal information gathered from the neighborhood. According to the neighbors, there's been lots of flip traffic and vehicle traffic from this house recently. The term flip traffic is street vernacular for rapid, short-term visits typically associated with drug transactions, where individuals come and go quickly. This corroboration from neighbors paints a consistent picture. Kim Hayes' residence, or at least his activities associated with it, had become a hub for illicit dealings. This immediately contextualizes a murder within the dangerous landscape of drug commerce. Detective White, a seasoned practitioner of investigative psychology, understands the crucial importance of community engagement. He begins the arduous but vital task of knocking on doors, seeking direct accounts from those who may have seen or heard something that night. It's probably going to be a later one. I'm going to honor this witness, this next door over here. His polite introduction. Hi there. How are you? I'm Jason White. Yes, sir. Establishes an immediate rapport, acknowledging the disruption he is causing, but emphasizing his professional role. He approaches the neighbor with respect and a clear purpose. The neighbor, though initially a casual observer, provides crucial details, stitching together a fragmented narrative of the events leading to the shooting. What did you see? Okay, you're about to go to bed. I heard some argument outside. We got my window. This immediate account confirms the presence of an argument, suggesting a verbal confrontation that escalated into violence. The act of looking out the window, a natural human response to nocturnal disturbances, positions a neighbor as a direct, albeit possibly obscured, eyewitness. It was a victim and two other guys hustling on the driveway right at the end. This detail is critical. Two other guys immediately establishes multiple suspects, confirming Kim was outnumbered. The word hustling vividly describes a physical struggle or a hurried, contentious interaction, aligning with the scattered forensic evidence in the driveway. And then the unmistakable sound that shattered the quiet night. I heard gunshots. This sensory detail provides temporal and auditory confirmation of the exact moment of lethal violence. The emotional impact of witnessing such an event, even indirectly, is profound. It takes your heart rate, making you up to a different level. The neighbor's physical reaction underscores the trauma, the visceral fear associated with violent crime erupting so close to home. Other observations emerge, providing more pieces to the puzzle. The Jacksons are standing at home. She got loaded by the house. This seems to refer to other neighbors, confirming broader community awareness of the incident. The neighbor further clarifies the victim's movements after the shots. What does the victim do next? My wife thinks he saw him get up, and I think she's able to turn the fire. The collaborative nature of the witness account. The husband recounting what his wife might have seen suggests a shared experience of the unfolding tragedy. The description of the assailants is initial but important, contributing to a nascent composite. What did the guys look like? Tall, about 6 more, while imprecise. Tall and 6 more, perhaps meaning 6 feet tall or taller, provides a general height estimate. Critically, the neighbor also confirms the earlier intel about traffic, offering a poignant personal observation about Kim. It wasn't the first time I've heard people coming in and out. Did I understand? Is there a lot of traffic over here, like short-term traffic? I think over the last year or so what I thought maybe. There's some kind of baby, probably that kind of pulls my brains up. Takes a man. I really do. Appreciate your time. The neighbor confirms the short-term traffic, characteristic of drug dealing. Their speculative comment. I thought after he had that baby, I thought maybe he calmed down or something. Reveals a genuine hope they held for Kim's change of lifestyle, highlighting the community's awareness of his struggles and the transformative power of fatherhood. The neighbor's genuine appreciation for the detective's visit underscores the human connection often forged in these investigations. The eyewitness account becomes more precise as the details are pieced together. Those two guys were fighting with him here, and then the suspect was over the top of him shooting. One of the suspects was shooting into him multiple times. This refines the picture of the struggle, clearly identifying a single shooter among the two assailants, and confirming the viciousness of the attack with multiple times. The neighbor's earlier observation about Kim's change of heart is echoed, reinforcing a tragic undercurrent. He says that I thought after he had that baby, I thought maybe he calmed down or something. This repetitive theme from different sources highlights the cruel irony of Kim's death. Just as he was ostensibly striving for a better, safer path for himself and his daughter. With critical information from the crime scene and eyewitnesses pointing to Charles Boaz and the probability of a drug-related motive, the focus shifts to Kim's immediate family. Detective White strategizes with his partner, Detective Ronnie Leatherman. We got the victim's mom and girlfriend being taken downtown. I'm going to go talk to them right now. I'd like to get the story as quick as possible. The urgency of the golden 48 hours drives the need for swift interviews, prioritizing fresh memory. The decision-making process for these sensitive interviews reveals psychological acumen. I'm thinking we talk to the girlfriend first. What do you think? Yeah, I don't know that the mom's really gonna know the ins and outs of what's going on. Let's talk to the girlfriend. Okay, let's do this. All right. The rationale is sound. The girlfriend, being intimately involved in Kim's daily life, is more likely to possess the detailed, contemporary knowledge of his activities and associates that the mother, perhaps intentionally shielded from certain aspects of his life, might not. This targeted approach aims for maximum information extraction in the least traumatizing manner possible. The interview with Kim's girlfriend begins, and Detective White sets an empathetic, yet purposeful, tone. My name is Jason White. This is Ronnie Leatherman. Hi, I'm sorry that you're having to deal with any of this. This gentle introduction acknowledges her immense suffering, seeking to establish trust and compassion. Her immediate emotional response reveals the raw trauma. Yeah, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. The repetitive statement, tinged with disbelief, speaks to the profound senselessness of sudden loss. Detective White validates her feelings, while subtly guiding her towards cooperation. Yeah, there's really never any real good explanation for any of these, but I think that you're going to be able to really shed some light for me and help me out. Okay. His acknowledgement of the inexplicable nature of such violence is both comforting and empowering, positioning her as a vital ally in the pursuit of understanding. The girlfriend's account begins with a poignant description of their family routine, painting a heartbreaking picture of domestic bliss shattered by violence. Tell me what happened tonight. Well, just like any other night, we have a nightly routine with her. She has dinner like a brand 7.5, and then we lay her down. When it's time to lay her down, we lay down together. This imagery of a loving, structured family life, focused around their infant daughter, Chloe, is immensely powerful. It frames Kim not as a mere participant in a dangerous street lifestyle, but as a dedicated father actively engaged in nurturing his child. The brand 7.5 might refer to a specific baby food brand or routine, grounding the narrative in authentic domesticity. This peaceful scene, however, was about to be tragically interrupted. She says Kim was texting someone while they were putting their daughter to bed. As soon as she fell asleep, he hopped up and he left the room. He went straight to the garage, and he opened the garage door. These actions depict a furtive departure, a deviation from their nightly routine that was clearly prearranged and possibly clandestine. Kim's use of his phone while with his daughter, and his immediate movement to the garage, suggests a clandestine rendezvous, directly linking his personal life to the unfolding criminal activity. The garage, a threshold between the home and the outside world, became the tragic point of no return. The girlfriend's narrative then plunges into the terrifying moments immediately preceding and during the shooting. I went to the bathroom to grab a cigarette. I was going to go out there, because that's what I do. And then I just heard these loud noises, and I know gunshots sound like, I want to say maybe 9. Gunshots, like it's over and over and over and over. The mundane act of reaching for a cigarette becomes imbued with chilling significance, as her normal routine places her just out of sight when the horror erupts. The shift from loud noises to the horrifying realization of gunshots, repeated over and over and over and over, conveys a profound sense of shock, disbelief, and escalating terror. The number 9 gunshots, or similar volume, suggests a deliberate, brutal, and relentless attack. Her realization, initially dulled by shock, ignites into panic recognition. And then I finally registered, and I was like, Kim's in trouble. You know, I dart for the door, and I opened the door, and he just started yelling, "Get down! Get down!" Her protective instinct, a desperate rush to reach him, is met by his frantic warnings to get down. A final, selfless act of father attempting to shield his loved ones from danger. Basically, so I hear a shot, and all I see Kim do is just starts the threshold to the garage door and just over. And over and over and over and over. This fragmented, agonizing description captures the horror of witnessing Kim's last moments, the repeated impact of bullets, his struggle at the very entrance to the home, his valiant fight against overwhelming force. The horrifying culmination of the attack became starkly evident. And then that's when I noticed blood, and then he immediately turned around and looks at me, and he goes, "Call the ambulance. Call the ambulance." The visual impact of blood, the desperate, pleading cries for medical help, portray a man fully aware of his imminent demise, yet still clinging to the hope of intervention. His efforts to move towards safety and call for help were immediate. He's coming down the stairs. I went up and grabbed towels because his mom met us at the stairs. I was like, Kim's been shot. Kim's been shot. The confluence of the girlfriend and Kim's mother at the stairs creates a scene of raw, shared familial trauma. The desperate call, "Kim's been shot. Kim's been shot," echoes the sheer panic and incomprehension. In a heroic, yet ultimately futile, attempt to save him, she applied direct pressure to his wounds. I went and grabbed towels, and I applied pressure. I put his head on my lap, and I just kept hitting him as hard as I could every time he kept closing his eyes. I told him "You're strong. You can do this. You know you're dumb. You've done this before." This passage is profoundly moving, illustrating the girlfriend's desperate fight against the encroaching shadow of death. Her physical efforts, her desperate pleas for him to stay strong and do this, speak to the immense, crushing power of love and the primal human refusal to accept mortality. The tragic, startling revelation, he just got shot 3 times in the stomach last year, introduces a critical new piece of information. This wasn't Kim's first brush with gun violence, implying a dangerous pattern of involvement in risky activities, suggesting a life teetering on the edge of the abyss, pulled back once, only to be dragged in again. It hints at a history of such encounters, a pre-existing vulnerability that would explain his later caution with the Roxys. Detective White, a master of unobtrusive questioning, circles back to Kim's final communications, knowing the critical importance of digital evidence. When she's going to sleep, was he messing on his phone while you guys were laying down there or something? Yes. Her affirmative response confirms Kim's covert texting activity. which likely initiated the fatal encounter. She reveals her own probing questions to Kim. She says she asked Kim who he was texting. So I guess my friend Charles, and I'm like, I've never heard that name before. It was Charles. And I said, so what's going on? What's the deal? And he said, well, Charles is supposed to bring him some Roxy's to sell. This is a monumental breakthrough. Kim's answer directly links the man Charles to the ongoing situation and reveals the explicit purpose of his presence, Roxy's to sell. This instantly connects to the pill bottle found in the driveway and the earlier neighbor accounts of drug traffic, forming an undeniable pattern. The detective, ensuring no detail is overlooked, clarifies the street vernacular. Tell me what the heck Roxy's already on. Remind me, Roxy's like he's not. This confirmation of Roxy's as slang for a type of prescription opioid solidifies the drug. Transaction as a direct context for the murder. He also presses for details about potential accomplices. Did he happen to say if Charles was coming with anybody else? No, he did not. While this answer initially provides no information about the second suspect, it confirms that Kim's immediate expectation was to meet Charles alone, making the presence of a second man an unexpected and dangerous variable. The girlfriend's incredible composure and presence of mind in Kim's dying moments proves to be a gift to the investigation. After he was shot, Kim had his head in my lap. I kept asking him because I remember the name Charles, and I said, what is Charles's last name? And he kept trying to say something, but I couldn't understand what it was. I said, Charles who? Charles who? Her repeated, desperate attempts to extract Charles's last name, while Kim was fading, demonstrate an extraordinary tenacity. The human mind, under extreme duress, often filters information, focusing on crucial details. She clearly understood the vital importance of a name, and all I heard was Charles Boras, but now I know it's Boaz. The slight auditory confusion with Boras versus Boaz is understandable in the chaos, but her subsequent actions rectify this. How did you know? I messaged a childhood friend of Kim's. They went to school together when they were kids. They all went to Central together. Kim's friend told her that Charles Boaz is an old classmate from high school. This remarkable act of independent investigation, reaching out to a mutual friend to confirm the full name, exemplifies her dedication and shrewdness. The confirmation that Charles Boaz was an old classmate from Central, likely Central High School, solidifies the identification of the suspect, turning a fragmented dying declaration into an actionable name. The girlfriend's narrative then turns inward, revealing her own history and the profound effort she and Kim had made to forge a better life. I'm trying to put together in my head, just because I am familiar with that. You know, I had lived a very bad lifestyle before we got pregnant with her, and I changed my lifestyle around. Kim did too, for the most part. This confession reveals a shared past marked by drug use and a bad lifestyle, giving context to Kim's earlier shooting incident. Their mutual decision to change their lifestyle around upon discovering her pregnancy with Chloe is a powerful testament to the transformative potential of parenthood, a genuine aspiration for a cleaner, safer future. And then I just think right after we had her, Kim and I kind of went from being really close friends to we actually fell in love. Sure, their love story, evolving from friendship, is both beautiful and tragic, a symbol of hope born from shared struggle. He had before she turned a year old, gave me a promise ring, like I'm on our way to, getting our own place. Yeah. The promise ring and the plans of their own home represent concrete steps towards building a stable, legitimate family unit, illustrating the depth of their commitment and their earnest attempts to leave their past behind. The detective's affirmation, sure, validates her emotional vulnerability, building further rapport. Detective White, profoundly moved by her strength and valuable contributions, acknowledges her fortitude. Well, Right now I'm going to commend you for being extremely strong for me, and that's how I'm going to start talking to this mother. Okay, thank you. His sincere praise reinforces her critical role in the investigation. His internal assessment confirms her reliability and intelligence. She's legit. His girlfriend is trying to help. She said that Charles, that she doesn't know, but he was supposed to show up over there. Right after this had happened, starts telling her the name. She then communicates with one of his friends. He ends up giving her the name of Boaz, and that's consistent with the pill bottle out in the driveway. This meticulous cross-referencing of her testimony with the physical evidence, the pill bottle, solidifies the identification of Charles Boaz as the primary suspect. I mean, that guy's going to be involved. There's no brainer. The confluence of evidence makes Boaz's involvement undeniable. So we're on the right path with him, but I would like to get a little bit more. While confident in this lead, Detective White knows that a homicide investigation requires constant vigilance for more details. He acknowledges her immense emotional burden, which she stoically carries for the sake of her child. She's being very strong. It's going to hit her like a ton of bricks before home, and she's got to be strong for that kid right now. This empathetic insight into her psychological state highlights the human cost of violence and the profound resilience required of those left behind. Turning his attention to Kim's mother, Detective White extends the same respectful condolences. If Jason White turns to Kim's mother, we're very sorry. What happened tonight? The mother's account, understandably, is less direct and more distant from the immediate violence, as she was inside the house. So I was downstairs and, watching Long Wire, and, yeah, I just heard some of the ladder tap things. Next Sunday, they were coming in the front door, and he was saying he'd been shot. Her experience is auditory, hearing tap things, then the desperate, horrifying realization as Kim made his way inside, announcing his injury. Did you ever hear him say who shot him? No. Okay, he was just in work. Her testimony confirms Kim's injury, but, as anticipated, does not provide specific details about the assailant. Detective White attempts to probe Kim's recent activities, anticipating that mothers sometimes remain purposefully ignorant of their adult children's more problematic dealings. Do you know anything about what he's been doing, or does he have a lot of people come over for various reasons? No. Okay, there's a lot I don't know. Her initial denial, followed by a more candid admission. There's a lot I don't know, reflects the common dynamic of a parent attempting to shield themselves from uncomfortable truths, while still acknowledging a lack of complete awareness. I don't know what my son has been involved in. He promised me that he's not involved in anything. But going up to your parent or not, I don't believe not all that long ago. This reveals Kim's reassurances to his mother, likely designed to alleviate her worries, but also her underlying, lingering skepticism about his complete disengagement from past behaviors. The painful irony is that while she might not believe he was completely innocent of all involvement in illicit activities, she cherished the positive changes he had made. So, it's not like I think he's innocent or anything, but Kim was doing fine working every day. He couldn't wait to get to work in the morning. Yeah. She highlights his dedication to work, painting a picture of a young man striving for stability and responsibility, a contrast to his underlying risky behaviors. The conversation then shifts to the difficult, immediate future, focusing on the well-being of the granddaughter, Chloe. You have a pretty good relationship with her, though. She stresses me out completely. Does she? Extremely. But I love her, you know. There because she got pregnant with Chloe. So that's what kind of started the saga. She was homeless. The mother's honest admission of stress, immediately followed by, but I love her, encapsulates the complex, often challenging dynamics of family life, especially when compounded by difficult circumstances like homelessness during pregnancy. The term saga succinctly captures the trials and tribulations that led to their current situation, hinting at the difficulties faced by the young couple. Detective White, anticipating the practicalities of the tragedy, addresses the immediate future. She's got a long road ahead of her, but I'm sure you're going to be able to help her. She's going to be living at your house. Temporarily, I'm sure. Right. Yeah, she'll be living there. My focus, of course, Chloe. This empathetic yet pragmatic approach acknowledges the grandmother's new, crucial role as the primary caregiver for Chloe, recognizing the ripple effects of the murder on the entire family unit. The grandchild becomes a shared focus, a beacon of innocence amidst the darkness. The detective, ever mindful of the profound emotional journey ahead for the grieving mother, handles the delicate topic of viewing Kim's body. Well, you won't be able to see him at the medical examiner's office. I mean, you can see him at the funeral home. This distinction is crucial, providing necessary guidance for a distraught family member, sparing her from a potentially more traumatic experience at the medical examiner's facility while still offering the option of farewell. His words of empathy ring true. I don't know. I know. I can't even imagine what you're feeling right now. He avoided hollow platitudes, instead acknowledging the sheer depth of her suffering. His concluding statement solidifies his unwavering commitment. My goal is for justice to be served. If anything comes up, don't hesitate. All right, I'm sorry. That's a cute grandbaby. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. They're both good to go. Thank you. The promise of justice, coupled with practical advice and a gentle nod to the precious life of Chloe, offers a measure of solace and purpose to the mother in her darkest hour. The final polite exchange, thank you for your patience, thank you, marks the close of a difficult but productive interview. Reflecting on the preceding interviews, Detective White expresses a profound emotional impact his work has on him and his colleagues, demonstrating a deep well of humanity. Kim's mom, she absolutely is in a state of shock right now. Her whole world's getting turned upside down. Seeing people going through this, if we weren't affected by that a little bit, then we probably shouldn't be doing this job. This introspective moment is critical. It reveals that beneath the hardened exterior of seasoned homicide detectives lies a core of empathy. They are not merely processors of facts and evidence. They are witnesses to profound human suffering. Their ability to remain empathetic, to be affected by that a little bit, is, ironically, a necessary qualification for the job, distinguishing them from the cold, detached perpetrators they pursue. It's a job that demands both professional detachment and a profound understanding of human pain. The investigation now pivots back to the digital realm, unlocking the secrets hidden within Kim's cell phone. So we've got the data from a phone. Using Kim's password, Sergeant Ethan Schilling scans through his text messages leading up to the murder. The seemingly innocuous password, Slime, granted access to a crucial digital archive. Sergeant Ethan Schilling, a specialist in digital forensics, methodically sifts through the communications, unearthing the precise details of the fatal encounter. Here's where maybe the problem was. It was going to be a pill deal. Yeah, he was bringing him. Roxy's the cell. The text messages unequivocally confirm the girlfriend's testimony. Kim was indeed expecting a drug delivery, and the pills were Roxy's intended for resale. This direct corroboration from digital evidence dramatically strengthens the case's foundation. The text exchange leading up to the murder is painstakingly reviewed, revealing precise nature of the transaction and Kim's cautious mindset. Kim had concern about whether they were real or not. This detail speaks to a cautious Kim, wary of being scammed, perhaps a lingering consequence of his earlier shooting incident. His message, Kim says, all right, gee, look, bro. Like I said, I got a baby now. So I'm not playing no games. It's profoundly poignant. It underscores his nascent transformation, his desire to prioritize his daughter's well-being over reckless involvement in the drug trade. He wanted to ensure the deal was legitimate and uncomplicated, emphasizing his new responsibilities. His self-description, "I'm just a numbers guy. As long as our numbers stay straight, we're going to eat G," indicates his intention to keep the transaction purely commercial. Minimizing risk, he aimed for a straightforward, transactional relationship, avoiding the personal animosities that often accompany drug dealings. However, the individual on the other end of the conversation, the presumed dealer, exhibited a degree of confusion or dismissiveness that suggested an underlying motive or different expectation. And whoever is coming to meet him says, "What do you mean? I'm confused. They real. No press. Let me know you pulling up. I'm going to raise the garage door." The dealer's initial confusion, "What do you mean? I'm confused," could be genuine or feigned. But their insistence, "they real, no press," attempts to allay Kim's stated concerns about quality. The final instruction, "Let me know you pulling up. I'm going to raise the garage door," establishes a precise rendezvous point and signals the final moments before the confrontation. This sequence of text paints a vivid, real-time picture of the setup. The chronological precision of the digital evidence provides a chilling timeline. Okay, what time was that? 10:51. Yeah, that's the guy. And 52 pulling up 53. And that's his last going. Yeah, that's the guy. These time stamps, indicating messages sent at 10:51, 10:52, and 10:53, precisely pinpoint the moments immediately preceding Kim's murder. And that's his last going refers to the final outgoing message, making the timeline indisputable. This irrefutable digital evidence places Charles Boaz, the sender of these messages, squarely at the scene, fulfilling the rendezvous that culminated in Kim's death. The investigative net now tightens definitively around Charles Boaz. The number our victim was messaging back and forth with that was going to be delivering pills checks to Charles Boaz. The ownership of the phone number used in the exchange is linked to Charles Boaz, forging a solid evidentiary chain. To solidify the image of the suspect, a photograph is retrieved. Here's a recent picture of Charles from when he was arrested last year. This suggests a prior arrest, placing him in the criminal database. 27-year-old Charles Boaz is a local rap artist and has no prior felony convictions. This detail offers a fascinating contrast. A local rap artist, a public persona, engaged in illicit activities. The lack of prior felony convictions indicates a relative inexperience with serious criminal charges, a factor that might influence his later cooperation. Detective White, confident in the mounting evidence, summarizes the case against Boaz while acknowledging the work still ahead. Here's the deal. We know that Charles Boaz was there. That's a no-brainer. His pill bottle's in the freaking street, but we got to build this case up. The combination of the pill bottle in the driveway, Kim's dying declaration, as told by the girlfriend, and the damning text messages makes Charles Boaz's presence undeniable no-brainer. However, knowing he was there is not enough. The case must be built up to ensure a successful prosecution. The detectives aim for a swift arrest. I want to be able to make an arrest of this cat, and there's another guy that was with him too. You have to watch the body cam. I want to see what that video shows. The mention of this cat reveals a hint of detective slang, a term used for the target. The critical point remains the second suspect, whose identity is still unknown. The police body camera footage from first responders becomes a potential wellspring of further evidence, especially concerning a dying declaration. The potential power of the body camera footage in a court of law is immense, as Detective White explains. White hopes body cam footage from first responders will turn up a lead. If that video shows the victim saying that name, I think from that we're good. A clear identification of the assailant by the dying victim on video would be almost irrefutable. We got the officer's body camera video finally uploaded, so we're going to watch it and see if our victim gives any more details about what happened. It's really powerful piece of evidence. I think that would fall in the category of dying. Declaration. A dying declaration is a highly potent legal instrument, an exception to the hearsay rule, allowing a victim's final words to be used as evidence. Under the premise that a person on the verge of death would have no motive to lie, the strict legal requirements for a dying declaration are precisely articulated. With a dying declaration, the person who's dying, you have to talk to them and tell them, hey, there's a good chance you're going to die. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I understand. I'm about to die. Here's who did it. And if you jump through those hoops, then that stuff can get used in court. The officer must confirm the victim's understanding of their impending death and then explicitly elicit the identification of the perpetrator. This process ensures the legal integrity of the statement. Hopefully we'll be able to use this as a dying declaration. This expression of hope underscores the vital importance of this type of evidence. Despite the anticipation of the body camera footage, the case for arresting Charles Boaz is already robust. But I don't think it's going to be an issue as far as getting Charles Boaz arrested. There's a bottle right where the shooting happened in our suspect's name. The last person that our victim was talking with is this Charles Boaz. The converging evidence, the physical pill bottle, the digital communications, and the girlfriend's testimony, even if not strictly a dying declaration itself, leaves no doubt about Boaz's direct involvement in the fatal encounter. The next step is a swift arrest. So, I think we're planning good to get him tomorrow morning. We'll put everything together and we'll submit it to the DA and we'll get an arrest warrant. The efficiency of the detective work, culminating in the securing of a warrant, reflects the methodical nature of the homicide unit. However, a nagging question persists, complicating the narrative of the crime. There's still the question of the second person when the shooting happened. So, just because Charles was there doesn't necessarily mean he's a shooter. It could be this other guy that we don't know about. The eyewitness account from the neighbor clearly stated 2 other guys and identified one of the suspects was shooting. This means even if Charles Boaz was demonstrably present, he might not be the actual shooter. The identity of the second person remains a critical gap, demanding further investigation. For both the shooter and accomplice bear significant legal responsibility. The wheels of justice begin to turn with the official issuance of the warrant for Charles Boaz. We just got the warrant signed for Charles Boaz. I've notified our Fugitive Orange Unit to start the hunt. The phrase Fugitive Orange Unit likely refers to a specialized task force or unit dedicated to tracking and apprehending suspects with outstanding warrants. Their mandate is clear: start the hunt. The hunt involves meticulously checking known residences and potential hideouts. The team had several known addresses for Charles Boaz. There's an address that I got in Jinx that I'll send you, but one after another. These detailed investigative efforts, ranging from formal databases to less conventional intel, are crucial in tracking down a suspect. The unit's perseverance pays off. He's setting up on a truck that is linked with Boaz. This means they've identified a vehicle associated with the suspect, providing a tangible lead for surveillance. Detective White's immediate priority remains the apprehension of the primary identified suspect. The most important thing for me right now is to get Mr. Boaz in custody, and then we'll go from there. Getting the suspect into custody is paramount. It neutralizes a threat and provides an opportunity for direct questioning and further evidence gathering. The narrative concisely recaps the rapid progress made in the initial 48 hours of the investigation. The first 48 Tulsa homicide responded to the murder of Kim Hayes gunned down in his mother's driveway. The context is firmly reestablished. Learned an eyewitness saw 2 men struggle with Kim before one of them shot him. The eyewitness account is reiterated as a core piece of evidence, establishing the multi-perpetrator nature of the crime. Discovered Kim made a dying declaration naming Charles Boaz as one of the suspects. This reiterates the critical piece of information, confirming Boaz's direct link to the fatal confrontation. The next few lines are a fragment, possibly from the body camera audio. "I'm coming. You want to go down the side, don't you? Okay, which one?" These urgent words, likely from a first responder tending to Kim, hint at the ongoing attempts to keep him alive and perhaps elicit further information in his final moments before delving into the arrest and interrogation of Charles Boaz. The narrative offers a more profound and tender portrait of Kim Hayes, gleaned primarily from his heartbroken girlfriend. This serves as a vital counterpoint to the often clinical focus on crime, anchoring the story in the deep human tragedy. Kim was just an amazing person. He was going to be more to me and mean more to me than I had ever thought when I met him. This heartfelt declaration speaks to the profound impact Kim had on her life, exceeding initial expectations and deepening into a significant, transformative bond. Her personal story, intertwined with his, provides crucial context for their struggles and shared aspirations. I had been living on the street since I was 16, and I was into hardcore drugs, and that's kind of like the scene he was in. That was in a really dark place when I met him. This raw honesty illuminates their shared, difficult past, explaining the environment that drew Kim back into dangerous activities despite his desires for change. Their shared experiences in hardcore drugs highlight the formidable challenges they faced, the deep hole they were trying to climb out of. Their relationship evolved into a genuine attempt at redemption. 3 months before I had her, I moved in. This signifies a step towards stability and commitment, a deliberate effort to build a legitimate home. And with the birth of their daughter, Kim's transformation solidified. He was a phenomenal father. He didn't push back in anything regarding her. He was very understanding, almost to the point where it was annoying, but I loved him for it. This loving description paints a beautiful picture of Kim's dedication to fatherhood. His understanding nature, almost to an annoying degree, speaks to his patient's gentleness and unwavering support for his child, characteristics often overlooked in narratives dominated by crime. This facet of his personality stands in stark contrast to the violence that ended his life, making his loss all the more tragic. Yet, despite his admirable efforts at change, the pressures of his past and the new responsibilities of fatherhood created immense stress, pushing him toward desperation. I just know that he got really desperate. He was trying to figure out, what can I do to make ends meet plus, and feel secure and not feel like I'm going to be at my mom's house for the rest of my life. So, that's really hard on somebody. This is a crucial insight into Kim's motivations for engaging in the drug deal. His desperation stemmed from a powerful, noble desire to provide for his new family, to establish his independence, and to break free from reliance on his mother. The burden of supporting his child, coupled with the societal expectations of self-sufficiency, likely became overwhelming. He wanted to escape the perceived shame of still living at home, yearning for his own place. Kim's aspirations were deeply rooted in his familial history, particularly the influence of his father. I think he wanted to be a lot like his father. His dad was there for him, and when his dad passed away, it devastated him. The profound impact of his father's death, a devastating loss, created both grief and a powerful, enduring desire to emulate his positive qualities, particularly his presence as a father figure. His high school years were marked by a similar turbulent path. We come from a rough part of the city. We weren't on the greatest paths in high school. Neither. One of us, especially after he lost his dad. This acknowledgement of growing up in a rough part of the city and being on not the greatest paths provides critical context to his life choices, and his father's death exacerbated this vulnerability. His attempts at personal transformation, influenced by his father's legacy and his daughter's birth, were ongoing. Over the years, they would talk about his dad as how he wants to be, a better person for himself and his daughter, This desire for self-improvement, fueled by both inspiration and responsibility, characterized a significant part of his adult life. However, past mistakes cast long shadows, making genuine change incredibly difficult in a system that often penalizes past errors. He had been in some trouble, had some things on his record. As we all know, as people in the system that we're in, once you have a blemish, it becomes very, very hard to overcome that. This is a poignant and educational commentary on the systemic barriers faced by individuals trying to leave a criminal past behind, underscoring the formidable challenges of reintegration into society. A criminal record, even for minor offenses, can close doors to employment and housing, ironically pushing individuals back towards illicit means to survive. Despite these obstacles, Kim was actively working toward a legitimate life. He was working this job, and he was always talking about how he wanted to, provide for his family. He had him on his own spot. His pride in his work, his determination to provide, his ambition to have his own spot, all point to a man striving earnestly for a conventional, stable future. And just as a father would do, try to do your best to take care of your family. This simple, universal truth of fatherly devotion is a powerful descriptor of Kim's character. His girlfriend, with profound wisdom, acknowledges his imperfections while celebrating his essential goodness. And, we all make mistakes. He was a perfect person, but he was still a good person. This beautiful statement offers a balanced, humanizing portrait of Kim Hayes, not as a saint, but as a flawed, striving, loving individual whose life was brutally cut short, a testament to his inherent worth beyond his circumstances. The narrative shifts back to the pursuit of justice, focusing on the apprehension of Charles Boaz. Now we're into the search for Charles Boaz. The urgency is palpable. This morning, the fugitive Orange guys, they've basically been setting up surveillance on the potential house where Charles Boaz may have been staying. The specialized unit, known for its expertise in tracking fugitives, conduct methodical surveillance, a blend of patience and precision. They set up surveillance at that location. Apparently, they follow them to another location. They think that they've got him spotted. He's sitting in a car, and that's where we're at. They're maintaining surveillance at this moment. This sequence of events, from initial stakeout to mobile tracking to precise identification, highlights the dynamic nature of fugitive apprehension. The maintaining surveillance at this moment emphasizes a careful, strategic approach, ensuring the arrest is conducted safely and effectively. The culmination is swift. He's in custody. Perfect. This one word, perfect, encapsulates the immediate satisfaction of successful apprehension. Detective White reflects on this first significant capture, his mind already racing towards the next phase of the investigation. Whether he's a shooter or not, he's involved. So, we'll see. This distinction is critical. Boaz's involvement is undeniable based on the evidence, but the identity of the shooter is still an open question. This kid doesn't seem like somebody that's just an arch-criminal type. This immediate assessment by an experienced detective is insightful, suggesting that Boaz might be less hardened than a habitual violent offender, potentially making him more susceptible to cracking under interrogation, especially if the emotional weight of a murder weighs on him. This psychological read is crucial for interview strategy and the ultimate goal. And I really want to know who the second guy is, and he's got to tell me that. Otherwise, I don't know how to do it. Boaz becomes a vital link to identifying the still unknown second suspect, the missing piece to the full truth. The bluntness of otherwise, I don't know how to do it, speaks to the real-world limitations and reliance on internal cooperation in complex multi-suspect cases. Almost 3 full days after the murder of Kim Hayes, Charles Boaz is brought to the homicide unit for formal processing and, eventually, interrogation. Nearly 3 days since Kim was murdered, Charles Boaz is brought to homicide. The delay, though significant, is often necessary for surveillance, apprehension, and warrant processing. Detective White, ever pragmatic, aimed for an immediate conversation. I'd like to have an opportunity to speak to him. His initial approach is direct, professional, and slightly commanding. Hey, man, Charles, sit up for me. I want to blow you. Okay, we're going to get your fingerprints, and we're going to get your DNA. The blow you is likely a colloquialism for a full processing or reading of his rights. The forensic procedures of fingerprints and DNA collection are standard practice, crucial for connecting him physically to the crime scene if evidence of his presence is later found. Boaz, however, initially opts for silence, a common strategy for suspects. It's not going to be speaking to me. His refusal to talk is a hurdle, but not an insurmountable one. Detective White, however, possesses a keen eye for physical detail, an instinct honed by years of observing criminals. His next observation is a triumphant moment of deduction, a critical link between Boaz and the violent struggle described by the eyewitness. Witness lives next door, saw some sort of physical altercation. He's got his hands taped up. Band-aids. Perfect. Thank you. I need to photograph that. Man, I love it. The band-aids and taped up hands are a direct, undeniable sign of injury, sustained in a physical confrontation, perfectly corroborating the neighbor's account of hustling, struggling with Kim. The detective's excitement, perfect. Man, I love it, is palpable. It's the thrill of discovery, the immediate satisfaction of finding a crucial piece of corroborating evidence that solidifies the narrative of the crime. These injuries provide a powerful, silent testimony, regardless of Boaz's refusal to speak. Boaz's legal predicament is quickly outlined, leading to his necessary transfer. He's going to have to be transported to Osage County. This indicates a murder falls within Osage County's jurisdiction, requiring the formal legal transfer of the suspect. While waiting, Boaz attempted a defiant, albeit futile, declaration of innocence. What are you doing? Filling something out for me. He wrote innocent on the table. Okay, well, the evidence isn't supporting that right now. His written assertion of innocence, scrawled on the table, is swiftly and calmly dismissed by the detective. The evidence, already pointing strongly to his involvement, speaks a much louder truth than his denial. With Charles Boaz refusing to cooperate and no immediate leads on the second suspect, the investigative team returns to the scene, seeking additional, often elusive forms of evidence. With no leads on the second suspect, we're going to head back over to the area where this homicide happened, recanvass a couple houses where they may have some video. A recanvass involves systematically revisiting the neighborhood, often several days after the initial response, hoping to uncover new witnesses or, increasingly, digital evidence. Detectives hope someone in Kim's neighborhood has surveillance video from the night he was murdered. In the age of ubiquitous home security systems and doorbell cameras, surveillance footage often proves invaluable, offering impartial, unblinking eye on events. Detective White's interaction with a homeowner reveals the standard procedure. Hey, I'm Detective White. We were going to take a look at your cameras. Okay, how are you? He explained his purpose directly. I need that guy's car on video. You got a Ring doorbell camera. Yes, I did yesterday. Oh, okay. His hope is to capture footage of the suspect vehicle, a key piece of information for identifying the second perpetrator. However, sometimes luck, despite thorough efforts, does not cooperate. But nothing turns up. We didn't get lucky. All right. The absence of relevant video footage means the search for the second assailant must continue through other avenues. Right now, I'm still looking for the second guy in this. Once I do find out who he is, maybe he'll come around and tell me what happened. This reiterates the detective strategy. Identifying one accomplice often pressures the other to cooperate, seeking to minimize their own culpability. 2 months pass, a period of stagnant leads and persistent investigative effort. until a crucial break in Charles Boaz's posture signals a potential shift in strategy. 2 months go by without any leads, and then detectives get some welcome news. We're going to go to Paul Huska, where we're going to visit with Charles Boaz. The waiting game, often agonizing for detectives, had finally paid off. The significant development came from Boaz's legal representation. His attorney reached out and indicated to us that he was willing to tell us the story. This is a critical turning point. An attorney-initiated contact, signaling a client's willingness to speak, usually indicates a strategic decision to cooperate in exchange for a potential plea deal or reduced charges. Detective White's interpretation of Boaz's change of heart is incisive and rooted in criminal psychology. I think that he's starting to see that the case against him is incredibly strong, and he doesn't really have much of a choice but to try to have a little self-preservation. This analysis is astute, facing overwhelming evidence and likely a bleak outlook. Boaz's self-preservation instinct, a fundamental human drive, compels him to break his silence. He realizes that cooperating is his best option for mitigating consequences. Detective White and his partner, Detective Ronnie Leatherman, traveled to Osage County to conduct this crucial interview. Detective White and Detective Ronnie Leatherman head to Paul Huska in Osage County, where Charles Boaz is being held. The setting, the county jail, underscores Boaz's confinement and precarious legal position. The detective's approach is direct and businesslike. "My name's Jason White. Your attorney indicated to me that you wish to make a statement. Basically, just tell me what happened." The question is simple, open-ended, inviting Boaz to construct his own narrative, while subtly confirming the understanding that he wishes to make a statement, empowering him slightly in an otherwise disempowering situation. Boaz's story begins with an attempt to justify his anger at Kim Hayes, portray himself as a victim of a scam. The dude, he sent somebody to me that hustled me. He claims Kim put him in touch with a man who was going to buy his prescription drugs. Boaz shifts blame onto Kim, asserting that Kim arranged a scam. Detective White probes for clarity on the nature of the hustle. "How did you get played?" "I gave him some pills, and he gave me an envelope with some napkins in it." This vivid, almost absurd detail, pills for napkins, paints a clear picture of the scam. Boaz's realization of the deception and the financial loss fueled his desire for retaliation. "And you left and then realized that he'd screwed you over. How much money are we talking about that? His buddy ended up taking you for?" "It's like $600 or $700. The amount, $600 or $700, while not exorbitant, was significant enough within the context of their illicit trade to provoke a violent response, illustrating the perilous economics of drug dealing. Boaz outlines his escalating frustration and his decision to confront Kim directly. "So I hit Kim up to tell me who to do what because I was wanting to beat him up." His stated intention was physical retribution, to beat him up rather than lethal force. He didn't want to give up his dude. He didn't want to be in the middle of it. Kim, understandably, refused to betray the person who scammed Boaz, likely fearing retaliation himself, further escalating Boaz's anger. Detective White strategically introduces the evidence from Kim's phone to frame the confrontation, acknowledging the prior text exchanges. "There's a lot of messages on his phone between the both of you about pills. You guys were discussing a transaction. Is that fair to say?" "There wasn't a transaction. It was basically, if you call a dude over here, let me get my one-on-one with him. I'll let you have these pills." Boaz, perhaps attempting to minimize his direct involvement in a drug deal gone bad, frames the meeting as a confrontational setup. His indignation about being set up is palpable. "I'm like, man, you set me up. We've been knowing each other for a long time. Like, we roll tight. Like, that's up. I never do like that." This expression of betrayal reveals a breakdown of trust, emphasizing a prior relationship or familiarity with Kim, turning the transaction into a deeply personal affront. The verbal altercation quickly devolved into physical violence. Then we started fighting. I had to slam them on the ground, and then we had my arms locked into, where I couldn't move my arm. Boaz's description of the fight, slammed them on the ground, arms locked in, directly corroborates the eyewitness account of a physical altercation and Kim's desperate struggle to defend himself, even managing to gain an advantage by pinning Boaz. This also explains the injuries on Boaz's hands that Detective White observed earlier, cementing the connection between Boaz's testimony and the physical evidence. At this critical juncture, the second suspect, Boaz's cousin, intervenes, escalating the violence to a lethal level. Then when that happened, my cousin had got out the car. My cousin pulled me off of him. The cousin's intervention changes the entire dynamic of the fight, turned the tide against Kim. When he pulled me off of him, he got up and started reaching, like, something. Boaz frames Kim's action of reaching as a potentially threatening gesture, implying Kim was trying to arm himself. This serves as a self-serving justification for what happened next. Then I just heard shots go off. I took out one. I heard shots shoot back at us. Boaz distances himself from the shooting, implying his cousin was a shooter, and even attempting to suggest Kim shot back, a fabrication likely intended to bolster a self-defense claim. Then, my Kimpo got in the car and drove off. Kimpo is likely a misspoken word, intended to be a term for his cousin or mutual associate. The immediate flight confirms criminal intent. Detective White presses for the crucial identity of the second person, using a subtle nudge. Who was your cousin? The Kimpo that came over there with you? I know it's not easy for you. It's Mad Lies. Last name? Mitchell. The detective uses both an empathetic tone, I know it's not easy for you, and a pragmatic acknowledgement, it's Mad Lies, meaning the situation is messy, to elicit the name. Boaz finally reveals the second assailant, Mitchell. Boaz's subsequent account details his state of mind and his conversation with his cousin after the shooting, including a fabricated justification for the shooting. After this had happened, your cousin, was he worried? I know he was worried because he know I'm not that type of dude. Okay, it was like some type of situation. Like, damn, I hope I did my big cousin, though. This conversation reveals a mixture of guilt and self-preservation, with the cousin expressing concern about his involvement and reputation. Boaz then denies immediate knowledge of Kim's death, further attempting to minimize his culpability. Did you know that the guy died? I didn't know that until 2 days later. I didn't think nothing happened because he was popping back. You know what I mean? The phrase popping back, shooting back, is a crucial element of Boaz's defense strategy, attempting to create the illusion of a reciprocal gunfight rather than an ambush or one-sided. Shooting, thereby shifting some responsibility for the outcome. Detective White, having extracted the crucial name and a detailed, if self-serving, account, concludes the interview. Okay, all right, well, very good, thank you. Back at Homicide, Detective White dissects Boaz's testimony. Back at Homicide, I think he's minimizing some of his involvement, but he identified his cousin as Lawrence Mitchell. This initial assessment by White is a classic example of detective intuition, acknowledging the truth within the lies. Boaz is attempting to diminish his role, but the crucial piece of information, the cousin's identity, is invaluable. The investigation now zeroes in on Lawrence Mitchell. I'm going to pull up Lawrence Mitchell. 23-year-old Lawrence Mitchell performed local gigs as a rapper. He has a previous conviction for possession of a firearm. The background on Mitchell again highlights the duality of their lives, blending public artistry with criminal activity. The previous conviction for possession of a firearm is a highly significant detail, as it suggests a propensity for carrying weapons and prior experience with the legal system for gun-related offenses. This strengthens the probability of his direct involvement in the shooting. Fortuitously for the investigation, Lawrence Mitchell is already in custody on an unrelated charge, simplifying his apprehension for the murder of Kim Hayes. He's currently in custody. Lawrence was arrested 4 months after the murder for failing to appear in court on an unrelated firearm charge. This accidental capture is a stroke of investigative luck. Mitchell's pre-existing incarceration on a separate firearms charge directly pertains to his known propensity for carrying weapons, lending credibility to Boaz's story about his cousin bringing a pistol. The timeline of his arrest, 4 months after murder, explains why he wasn't immediately questioned earlier. We are definitely going to make an attempt to try to talk to him. This decision sets the stage for the second critical interrogation, hoping to piece together the final truth of the shooting. The process of bringing Mitchell to homicide for interrogation takes time due to logistical and legal hurdles. Lawrence is transported from Tulsa County Jail down to homicide. It took a little bit of time to get the warrant issued for him. You know, did COVID and all this other stuff. The mention of COVID grounds a narrative in a contemporary reality, illustrating how even global events can impact the pace of criminal investigations. Once all legalities are handled, the detectives pick him up. Once that happened, we went down to jail to go pick him up. Detective White prepares for the delicate conversation, seeking honesty from Mitchell. I hope that Lawrence tells us what's up. You know, I know your cousin. I've spoke to him. I just want you to tell me what happened. The detective adopts a direct, almost paternal tone, signaling that he already possesses much of the story and is seeking only confirmation and honesty. Lawrence Mitchell's account begins with a powerful articulation of loyalty and regret, acknowledging the profound influence of family ties in his fateful decision. Well, Overton never even left out the room out of my house. You know what I'm saying? If he wouldn't have called me, I'd have been at home. You know what I'm saying? But family to do with the family. Even though he told, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I still love him. His initial statement is a profound insight into the complex morality of the streets, where family to do with the family overrides personal safety or legal consequences. He expresses regret that he was drawn into the situation, wishing he had stayed home, but acknowledges his unwavering loyalty to his big cousin, Charles Boaz. Despite Boaz's role in betraying their trust, the statement, even though he told or whatever, implies his understanding that Boaz cooperated with police, yet his affection for his cousin remains. He then confirms a call from Boaz and the critical request that shaped the encounter. Who is this calling you? It's my big cousin. He's not a child. It's all right. I ain't got a call. Or can you drive away and bring the pistol? I'm like, for what? Like, I just need your help. This is the bombshell revelation. Charles Boaz explicitly called Mitchell and asked him to bring the pistol, unequivocally establishing premeditation and the intent to escalate the confrontation. Mitchell's question, for what, reveals his initial confusion or hesitation, but Boaz's plea, I just need your help, ultimately swayed him due to family loyalty. Well, I got in the car with him. You know, I went over there. This confirms Mitchell's role as the armed accomplice, making his presence and intent undeniable. Mitchell then describes his observation of the fight between Kim and Boaz, and his eventual intervention. I'm in, of course, an altercation. Do you know the background of what that was all about? I just know it was over some pills. His general knowledge over some pills corroborates the drug deal motive without needing specific details. I just see how I owed him some money. Charles owed him money, or vice versa. Vice versa. He took off on my cousin. This clarifies the financial motive for the altercation, with Kim having allegedly shortchanged Boaz in the drug deal. He took my cousin. He's one pin, and I'm sitting in the quad look back. I'm like, okay, they just fight. They're gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? Mitchell initially maintains a passive observation, believing it to be a contained physical dispute, with Kim actually gaining the upper hand, pinning Boaz. His decision to intervene came after perceived escalation in the fight's duration. Fight going on for like 7 minutes. Really? Get out the car. Damn. I'm going to have to break this up. The 7 minutes detail, even if approximate, indicates a sustained, intense struggle. His impulse to break this up suggests a move to de-escalate. But his next actions immediately re-escalate the situation to lethal levels due to the presence of his firearm. That's when the neighbors get to coming outside and stuff. That's when I'm like, but we got to get out of here. Bro, I got a pistol on me. I'm not trying to get caught with this. I'm already fighting the case. The emergence of neighbors, as previously confirmed by eyewitness testimony, introduced a new pressure point. Mitchell's immediate concern was his pistol and his pre-existing legal troubles, already fighting the case. The self-preservation instinct, ironically, drives him to use the weapon he carried. He describes Kim getting up from the struggle and his perception of a threat. They get the trip. He let him go. He up on me. As soon as he up, I drew down on him. My bud. Just what you want, bro. Mitchell's phrase, he let him go, suggests Kim, who'd been winning the fight, release Boaz. Kim then turned his attention to Mitchell, prompting Mitchell's immediate and aggressive response. As soon as he up, I drew down on him. This means Mitchell pointed his weapon directly at Kim. His subsequent dialogue, my bud, just what you want, bro, is a challenging rhetorical question. I'm like, he's threatening me saying you got a pistol. I'm like, all right, he shot. I weaved it. I shot him. Mitchell claims Kim was threatening him and making a motion to arm himself, culminating in Mitchell firing his weapon. His statement, he shot. I weaved it. I shot him, still attempts to convey a defensive action, implying Kim shot first and he reacted, but the later contradiction of, I had already had mines out before he drew, reveals a planned confrontation. The number of shots fired is, by Mitchell's admission, significant. How many times did you shoot? I don't know. I know it was like at least 4 times. I had already had mines out, you know what I'm saying? Before he drew. When he drew, he shot. That's not empty. Mitchell's at least 4 times aligns with the girlfriend's maybe 9 gunshots, confirming multiple rounds were fired. The chilling phrase, I had already had mines out, you know what I'm saying? Before he drew, is the ultimate confession. It obliterates any claim of self-defense. Mitchell already had his weapon drawn before Kim could potentially reach for one, indicating a premeditated readiness to use lethal force if the situation demanded it. When he drew, he shot. That's not empty. This means Mitchell fired rapidly and definitively, leaving no doubt about his actions. The conversation with Mitchell then shifts to the aftermath and his own internal struggles. Did you ever talk to Charles after that? Yeah. He came to me the next day. It was my kind of, I can't really deal with it. He was like, man, I feel bad. I shouldn't have went there with it. It came to that they was really actually friends. Mitchell recounts Boaz's immediate regret and internal conflict, realizing the profound mistake they had made, especially given that he and Kim were really actually friends. This personal connection makes the betrayal and murder even more tragic, underscoring the senselessness of a life taken over a relatively small drug debt. Mitchell, in a moment of raw honesty, explains his motivation for finally cooperating with the detectives, acknowledging the heavy burden of his conscience and the demands of justice. I'll say for responsibility. You know what I'm saying? My cousin got a whole family. I didn't even have to talk to you, but I'm just trying to get the heat up my gut. I got a lot of respect for you for stepping up and doing the right thing. I wish you'd have done it in May, but I get it. His motivation stems from a combination of responsibility, acknowledging his own role, and a desire to get the heat up my gut, a clear reference to his troubled conscience. His acknowledgement of his cousin's family suggests a lingering empathy and sense of consequence. Detective White, while commending Mitchell for coming clean, doesn't shy away from expressing his wish for earlier cooperation. Balancing acknowledgement with professionalism, Mitchell then reveals a deeply personal reason for his honesty. I'm just with you. You know, I fell in love. I don't want to know what's going on because I didn't want to put her in that situation. Of course, I was trying to find out and get married. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? So I really I got to tell her what's really going on for real. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, seriously, man, I appreciate you. Thank you. Count on it. I'll do that. All right. It's kind of nice to hear. The story. This profoundly humanistic revelation. Mitchell's love for his girlfriend and his desire to be honest with her as he contemplated marriage offers a glimpse of the complexities of human motivation. Even within the context of a murder confession, he recognizes the incongruity of trying to build a new, honest life with this terrible secret festering inside him. His apology to the detective for the delay is sincere, and the detective's measured response, acknowledging complexity but affirming the value of the truth, underscores the humanity within the grim reality of law enforcement. Reflecting on the interwoven testimonies, Detective White offers profound summary of the case, identifying the multiple layers of responsibility and the ultimate tragedy. It's kind of nice to hear the story. Blood's thicker than water. And I think that he's wanting to do the right thing in the event that it may help his cousin out a little bit. White acknowledges Mitchell's familial loyalty as a powerful motivator, recognizing the complex pull of such bonds, even in the face of criminal culpability. Mitchell's admission of poor judgment is also noted, and he admitted that it was kind of a bad idea to do what he did, and by pulling that gun out, it kind of escalated it to another level. This insight is crucial. The introduction of the firearm, an act of intentional preparation for violence, escalated a potential fistfight over money into a fatal shooting. The detective's summary of blame is balanced, acknowledging the agency of all three men in the fatal sequence of events. The victim, him, and the other defendant, Charles Boaz, all three of them kind of let this get to a point where it shouldn't have. This profound observation recognizes that while Kim Hayes was a victim of a murder, his initial involvement in the drug deal and the subsequent confrontation contributed to the dangerous environment that led to his death. This is not an attribution of blame to the victim for his murder, but rather an astute analysis of how a series of choices by all involved parties created the circumstances for the tragedy. This case, it's a sad story. This is one that certainly could have been avoided. This underscores the preventable nature of the crime, the heartbreaking reality that different choices could have led to a profoundly different outcome, and the true, ultimate victim, whose innocence stands in stark relief against the gritty backdrop of street crime, is clear. And the real victim here is ultimately, it's going to be that little girl that grows up without a father. This powerfully humanistic statement, identifying Chloe as the lasting casualty, resonates with profound meaning, highlighting the ripple effects of violence far beyond the immediate moment of the crime. The final emotional testament comes from Kim's girlfriend, providing a heartfelt elegy for the man she loved and the future they lost. Her words serve as a poignant reminder of Kim's humanity, reaching beyond the sensationalism of his death. Here's what this did. These were just precious times. I love this picture. She highlights cherished memories, emphasizing the joy and profound connection they shared, epitomized by a photograph that captures their bond. Once Chloe came along, it was all about their unit. I think that would have been a really beautiful life. I really do. This poignant reflection on the transformative power of their daughter underscores the central role Chloe played in their aspirations for a better life. The shattered dream of a really beautiful life is palpable in her voice, a future cruelly snatched away. She speaks of Kim's vibrant social nature. Kim was always like to party, great smile, had great stories to tell. These characteristics paint a picture of a man full of life, charisma, and a joy that drew others to him. His innate kindness is also remembered. Kim was gentle and kind. He would have done anything, and he had that kind of a heart. This gentle portrait stands in stark contrast to the harsh realities of his involvement in drug dealing, revealing the multifaceted nature of his personality. A good heart, yet caught in difficult circumstances. His presence, his familiar ways, are deeply missed. What I miss most about him is he would pop up at the house like his dad used to. Kim would come over, and he'd follow me all over the house. This generational echo of his father's actions adds a beautiful, comforting dimension to her memories, emphasizing the ingrained patterns of love and care within his family. A particularly touching memory emerges, highlighting Kim's joy in simple acts of love and connection, especially with his daughter. You want to see something cool? Take this out. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. That's Miss Shrimp, like Daddy used to make. Oh, yeah. This vignette, possibly from a video or shared memory, captures Kim's playful, loving interaction with his daughter, teaching her a cherished family tradition, Miss Shrimp, like Daddy used to make. It reinforces his role as a loving, engaged father, creating precious memories. The girlfriend then articulates a profound, senseless pain of his loss. It's so different losing someone in this way to lose a younger person, and for such a stupid reason, it's just a deficit. He would have really enjoyed life. The stupid reason, a minor drug transaction, compounds a tragic waste of a young life with such immense potential for future joy and fulfillment. The loss creates an undeniable deficit in the world, an emptiness that can never be filled. Her final, most poignant appeal is for Kim's legacy to transcend the grim circumstances of his death. Is that Daddy and baby Chloe? It's Daddy. It's Daddy and Chloe when she's a teenie. Little baby. Forever. She's always going to want to know the other half of her, and never get to know that, and never get to know how much he loved her. I just don't want the way he went out to be the story that's left of who he was or who he is, because that's not the case. He was so much more than that. This is a powerful humanistic plea, a desperate hope that Chloe's understanding of her father will be shaped by his love and good nature, not by the violence that ended his life. The pain of Chloe growing up, never to experience his love directly, is the deepest wound. Her concluding words serve as a vital reminder to us all, while we, as analysts and storytellers, must dissect the grim realities of crime. We must never forget that victims are always so much more than that. Their lives lived, dreams nurtured, and love freely given, all irrevocably altered by senseless violence. This tribute, echoing through the aftermath of the investigation, serves as the ultimate triumph of humanity and empathy over the destructive forces of crime, ensuring that Kim Hayes, a complex, striving, loving young father, is remembered not just for the way he died, but for the life he lived and the love he embodied.